Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start a little bit earlier. Because I have already previewed our mayor's speech, and she has a lot to say. But for most of us who know Mayor Bagwell, we know that that is not unusual. So I'd like to thank Southwest Gas for sponsoring this event. If you could go ahead and raise your hand, Southwest table. So there's your Southwest people. This room is so full of VIPs that I'm not sure, who isn't a VIP here today. I'd like to introduce, or just put up your hand or stand up, although you probably have seen him, is the sheriff is here. So we know that this is a safe venue today. Oh, okay. And then we also have the fire chief here today. So if there's anything that happens on that front, we are safe as well. And then if we should have ice or snow this afternoon, we have the Public Works Director here today. So where are you? And I'm sure we have our plows outside. Okay, where are you? Ah, there he is. Okay. So if you have anything to say about plowing, there he is. Although he'll be protected by the sheriff. So, yes. And then we have our board of directors here today. I think all of them are here, so raise your hands. Okay. And then most important of all is the staff at the Goldust West. They, like everyone else, have had a lot of issues post-COVID, and we are always happy when they are able to accommodate us. So thank you so much for the staff in the back, and who have prepared for the stage. Before we start, I have a question. In this room, how many of you have at least attended Carson High School? Oh my goodness, okay. And then I'd like to know how many of you have graduated from Carson High School?
We attended it.
Yeah, okay. And look, notice the front table here, please, okay. And I know there's one that didn't graduate, but he attended.
We like
and he had,
We like him anyway.
We like him anyway. The reason that I wanted to point this out is because one of the things that we keep saying is that so many of the young people leave their communities. And I tell you one thing, I have found that in Carson City, not many people leave unless they have to for the military or going to a college, but most of them come back, as you can see by this head table here, who is running the city. So congratulations to all of you for not leaving and for making our city the way it is today. Thank you so much. Today's theme is painting the path forward. If you notice on your table, and please do not dip paintbrushes in the water, and do not do some artwork on your tablecloths, please. I'm not sure that, that, although that we could probably sell that for a lot, I don't know. Also, there are some blank cards on your table, and please use those and hand them to us. We'll go through if you have any questions, so that we have plenty of time for everyone to have a question answered. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our mayor, Lori Bagwell, who is now in her third year and will be up for re-election next year. I can't believe it's that soon, my goodness. And she will talk about how Carson City is painting the path forward. Lori?
I might have to lower this just a little. So I just want to start off with how excited I am to be here today to share with you all of the successes and some of the challenges we face as a city. I can't think of a better group to share this with. I want to also give a shout out. I don't think Ronnie thanked herself in the chamber for helping host this event and putting it together. It's important that we have an opportunity to share, so a big shout out and thank you to Ronnie and her team for this. And I would be remiss if I did not thank Southwest Gas, for my brownie. I really love them. Thank you. And then just a shout out that I don't get to do very often, but to my husband, Jim. Yay! The poor guy's had to listen to 10 versions of this speech today. And yes, he's going to have to endure it one more time. And just so I don't forget, before we get going, I want to take a moment to thank James Salanoa back there at the camera. He's our community relations coordinator, and he worked super hard when the mayor put a theme together. And then it's like, uh-oh, I have to deliver a theme. So thank you for your graphics work. And I hope that all of you today, as we click through the slides, will see his hard work come to life. I think it's pretty phenomenal. So I hope you really all enjoy it. So we're going to try the first click and see if we're on the right path. Did we move? We're not moving. Okay, we're not moving. Do I have is this the clicker?
No.
Oh, this. Did you see how that graphic moved? Oh, so that is the great work of James. Okay, so I know I'm going to shock you, but this is probably really the only money slide. So I've been joking this year that I'm going to spend it talking about the arts and other things instead of being the spreadsheet mayor. I'm quite capable if you write a bunch of questions about it, but I'll just tell you we're in good shape, right? And so I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the neat other things that we do in our community. So I did have to have one money slide. So what did we do? We brought in $17 million in grants to help pay for needed projects, which did what? Saved you the money from our general fund or from other sources. We went and got $2.3 million for Jack Transit, $3.1 million for our 5th Street and Colorado Street improvements, $1.7 million for our multi-use path rehab project, $330,000 for some pedestrian improvements on DeSoto, $1 million for our safe routes to school projects, $2 million for our Williams Street improvements, $1 million to help do some sewer extension projects, $1.5 million for our Quill water treatment plant upgrades, $2 million for our emergency operations center portion of our new fire department, fire station coming in, and then we spent $2.5 million in our ARPA funds to do some local neighborhood street projects. I know that's important to many of you as to how do we fund neighborhood streets, and we'll get into a little bit more of that later. Okay, wait till you guys see the next great picture. This is all of our favorite, the head. Director Jennifer Budge, is she here? If I say your name, I'd really love it if you I think she's out, but she's got an underling here, the Parks Department, in case you have any questions. They'll be happy to help you. So they had a very busy and productive year. The first thing that we started with is a restructuring within that department. It was important to be able to meet the needs of the community and have what I call the aces in their places, right? You want the best people doing the best jobs for you. So the first thing we did is add, this board approved, an arts and culture supervisor, and we hired Sierra Scott. Her focus is the implementation of the Arts and Culture Master Plan, has to write some grants because we need more money to implement the plan, and managing our special events. Let me tell you, Sierra has hit the ground running. Her and Deborah Soul, I think from the CTA, that's also working in arts, really are doing a fantastic job planning for music, murals, and events like the Mark Twain Days. Have y'all marked your calendars already? Yes? Yes? Okay, I need more yeses out of this. April 21 through the 23rd. We have a lot of activities planned for that weekend that I know you will enjoy. The V&T Arch Project in Mills Park is planned for completion. I know that the arches mean so much to many of us because our history is so important to preserve. So I hope by the end of the year you'll see that beautiful project at Mills Park. We also hired a full-time volunteer coordinator, Chelsea Kinchlow, who has worked with 562 volunteers, contributing 4,643 labor hours to this city for a value of $139,000. How about that? The community, that's right? That just believe in a project, and I think that's what's phenomenal about our community anyway. We also hired Christopher Ordino as our recreation coordinator to assist with all our sports programming and tournaments. That's a big thing in Carson City, right? We all love recreation and things to do, and we want our kids to have great activities, so we're really happy to have him. Last year, I mentioned that we were having a struggle with lifeguards for our swimming pool. I think at one meeting we even had a senior citizen that was one of those volunteers that kind of mentioned she was getting to the age of 80 and maybe we should find a lifeguard. So I'm happy to tell you all that we were able to hire Albert Hardgrave, who joined our team, and we've been able to restart the programs at the pool for swim lessons and aqua fitness. So we're super excited about that. We also, in the Open Space Parks Arena, completed the Kings Canyon Trailhead and the Prison Hill OHV area. We renovated the tennis courts at Roscold Park and the new parking lot at the Robert Kroll Mack Center. And we held our first disc golf tournament. I attended this event, and I can tell you the players told me it was one of the best courses they had ever played. I really think this is another opportunity. If you haven't tried it, take your children, grandchildren, and give it a try. I think it's out in the beautiful outdoors, and I just don't think you could enjoy anything anymore. Might be a good shot, you might not, but you'll get lots of steps if you're counting those things on your watches. Okay. If that wasn't busy enough for them, wait till I tell you what they're up to for 2023. We want to add 10 more miles of new trail. The first is adding 4.5 miles to the Lincoln Bypass Trail, which is on Kings Canyon Road, which is part of the historic Lincoln Highway. The beginning of this trail was built by our beloved Muscle Power, and it offers beautiful views of the Borda Meadow. Then we want to add 1.1 miles of the Odyssey Trail at Prison Hill, and finally another 5 miles of the Capital to Tahoe Trail on the west side of Carson City. This trail will connect to the Tahoe Rim Trail that will be built and maintained by Muscle Power in partnership with the United States Forest Service. Aren't we so lucky to have such hardworking nonprofits that really put their muscle and their time into the projects that have meaning? So big shout out to Muscle Power. And then on to a finance director. I think Sherry's here. I think I saw her. There's Sherry. How do you check this out? Her new name, Sherry Russell Benaboo. I'd love y'all to give a quick clap. Congratulations on your recent marriage. And I got to tell you, I don't think I've seen such a smile in all the years I've known Sherry. So truly, congratulations. The city was able to increase our bond rating with both the S&P and Moody's rating agencies. Okay, what does that mean, right? Well, it means we have a larger buying audience and we can negotiate lower interest rates. There's nothing more important in bonds than the interest rate. So hats off, it's a citywide effort. And I'm pleased to say that when a rating agency is improving your score, it's because they know we do conservative budgeting, we have great financial policies, our rainy day savings account is over 10%, and the department heads in this room and the ones that aren't work extremely hard to stay within their approved budgets. Those rating agencies recognize our sound financial policies. And so hats off to the entire city team. The finance department processes over 8,100 vendor checks every year, over 250 credit card reconciliations and payments per month, and 800 payroll checks per pay period. Finance is small but mighty. Most governments have separate finance, budget, and risk departments. However, our finance department, under the newly married Mrs. Benaboo, they do it all, and they really work hard on your behalf. And really, truly, they are always working hard. They handle 115 grants to get managed and reported to the federal government. That's a lot of reporting. I see some shaking heads over there that understand when you have to do federal reporting. Lots of quarterly reports, lots of work there, and to get every penny to work. The other neat thing I want to announce is Sherry and her team have a great new thing on the website. When you go out there, we call it Finance at a Glance. So if you ever have any questions on what have we budgeted, what are we receiving, what are we spending, check it out on our website. We are a very transparent government. It's all there for you to see. You want to look it up? Go check it out. But most exciting of all, they do all that, or for me, and maybe for Sherry, they do all that work and they end the year with no audit findings, right? And let me tell you, that's pretty spectacular to not have any audit findings. So hats off again to that group. One of the Board of Supervisors' priority is to fund needed capital projects and assets. We've been working very hard over the last few years for asset management. It's something that we're continuing to strive for. So this last year, we dedicated $2.7 million for the Long Street reconstruction, $3.3 million in fleet and equipment replacements, and we helped District 2 and 3 transportation projects of $3.3 million and did some right-of-way purchases for $1.3 million. I believe we will continue on that path forward to really fund as much as we can of our deferred maintenance and asset management. It's important to keep things going. Check that out. If there's anybody here from the Rotary, you're in it. Okay. For the 2023 calendar year, Finance is looking to implement a Budget 101 class. Because again, what's Sherry's aim? No budget or audit violations, right? So she likes to keep all of her staff informed. We have new staff like everyone else, and so you have to continue to do training. We also know that this year, the legislature is in town. So we add more workload to Sherry's small but mighty team. They answer what are called fiscal notes. Any of you in the government arena, that talks about a legislature has an idea for a bill. Andrew knows at the school district, right? You probably have a team that works on fiscal notes too. They send the legislation over to us and say, how much? How much is that going to cost? Our goal this year is to get 0 new costs for Carson City. That's our hope, right? Somehow I doubt that will happen, but we can dream. But that's the goal for finance. Okay, community development. This department is led by Hope Sullivan. Did I see Hope? Oh, there's Hope right in the back there in blue. They were also busy in 2022. We had $160 million in building permit value issued with 350 housing permits. There were also several new businesses in 2022, and I want to thank them for investing in Carson City, just to name a few. Panera Bread, right? Everybody excited we have Panera. Systems Edge, kind of something unique, a little virtual reality place. Something fun for your kids to do. Arby's on Highway 50 opened their second location. And I don't know, one of my fun new things that I discovered was a place called Beautiful Mess. I know it's got a great title too, huh? They're a little home decor store that's on Cochise. If you have a chance, check that out. And then Sierra Osteopathic Medicine, another family medicine location. So I really, again, want to thank them for investing. I know it's hard to take your money and take a risk and open a business, so we want to thank them. In 2023, we are going to be updating or looking at our development codes. We're specifically going to look at Title 18, which is our rule book, right? It tells developers, contractors, what the rules of the game. You know, if you want to build something in Carson City, these are the rules. We thought we had not looked at these in a very long time, and so, well, I'm looking at the district attorney who's staring at me and saying, maybe you should have waited longer, Lori. But really the board thought that it was a good wisdom to look at them every so often, right? You should address them and make sure they're current and still relevant. So for the last 2 years, we have had a great assignee from District Attorney Woodbury's office working on these. So the community will have an opportunity to discuss these during a joint planning commission. I see one of them. Hello, Terry. On March 3rd. So that is an opportunity for anyone in the public that would like to give comment on changes or things they think we should be differently. We're also going to work our beginning discussion on Title 1710. This is the common open space development. I think this is probably the number one issue that we get at planning commissions, board of supervisor meetings, of concern of some in the community that they would like us to amend or look at or eliminate. So again, we'll have that opportunity on March the 3rd. So if you have any ideas, you can send them in even before that, right? I know it's great reading, that you will enjoy reading every single page of our code, but it is an opportunity to help us to make it better for everyone. What's coming up next year? We anticipate 420 apartments and condo units will be built. 36 for the Fish Apartments on North Carson. I think you can all see those going up now. You can see that construction. Altair Apartments with 207 units on East William and North Plaza. 51 units for the Silvercrest condos on the corner of Oak and Rowland Street. And then 126 units at Northridge and Roop, and 12 lots on the Adams Estate on Longview. So that's what we expect to be happening the next year. I'm so glad this is working. I was waiting for it to lose a battery. At Health and Human Services, our director, Nikki Aker, I saw her, and her team conducted a walk-up point of dispensing exercise at Fuji Park in October of 2022 to ensure that we're ready to set up a mass medication or vaccine distribution event to help the community if an emergency arises. We continue to practice all the time. This is the team that practices. Because if you don't practice, when something real happens, you don't know what to do. Right? No, it's true. And you don't want them to have to pull out the book to read what to do. You want them prepared. So I'm super proud of that team that really works hard to have this ready for all of you. They work hard collaborating with Carson Tahoe Health and about 25 other agencies to do a needs assessment. Again, to be able to plan, you got to figure out what you have today. What do we look like? What's the health of the community? Where would I have to deploy a resource if something happened? Where are our long-term care facilities? What do we have to do for oxygen? Right? It takes a whole team, and I'm here to tell you we have more on the team than the health department. I think I saw the fire chief, but I want you to feel comfortable that your city is working hard to be ready in case we have an event that requires some evacuations and help to anyone, seniors. What did we do? 58 flu vaccine events in 6 weeks across 4 counties, including at the Carson City School. This keeps your children healthy during the flu season and in school continuing to learn. These events provide parents an opportunity to get their children vaccinated without having to take time off work. So I think that's, again, a great way. It can be done quickly at the school, and the child can get right back to the classroom. Prior to the pandemic, the Adolescent Health Education Program was able to teach your high school students about sex ed at the high school. During the pandemic, of course, none of that could occur, and it was discontinued. But I got to tell you, again, in cooperation with the school district and Nikki's team, they were able to get those started again. The students benefit from education for both sexual health and how to have healthy relationships. I think I saw, did I see Lisa Lee? Nope. With advocates. She really does a lot of work to help to teach our young children how to have good relationships. And that translates later into not having as much domestic abuse, right? That's what it's all about. How do we get rid of disease and domestic abuse? You have to start in the school, right? You just have to start early. So very happy to tell you that they're back in the schoolroom working on that. And then just a side note, they asked me, the health department, to remind if you have any of your children, grandchildren, or any of you, we're just really having some upticks with some issues. So if you know of any women that are pregnant, please have them get their prenatal care early and get tested, right? We can solve many, many problems, again, with early intervention. So that's the message from the health department. Test early and get your prenatal care. And Tobacco Prevention Coordinator continues to collaborate on really a big issue that's really hitting our town. I'd love to say that everything here is roses, but I would be misleading you. We really are seeing youth vaping as an epidemic in our community. I don't know what it is about bubblegum that excites them all, but these mint flavors and all these things that are out there in the vaping products are enticing our kids to vape. So again, if you can help your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, next door neighbor, I don't know, who else am I missing in this thing, but please, anything you can do to help educate them that vaping is just not what we want to see. We work so hard to reduce tobacco smoking, and we've replaced it with vaping. So that is something in Carson City that's just not going in the right direction. So anything you can do to help there would be wonderful. So this year, our high priority is to, again, work to create all of the plans. Like I said, if we don't plan in the health department, then we don't exercise and nothing goes well. So we hope to get that out, and I really need you, or Nikki does, to help. If you'd like to answer surveys or do any of that, please jump in and tell us about your family or your stats or what you think is missing in our community, because we really need that. So an initiative in 23 is 23 in 2023. So the objective is to rehouse 23 individuals in 2023 permanently. We have begun this work. Staff is working with community agencies to get people housed, reducing the number of people living in the community in shelters or their cars. There are many barriers to overcome with these individuals. However, staff and your board feel that we have to try to do something. We just can't ignore it. Don't know if we're going to get there, but I think we have to have a goal or you can achieve nothing. So we're going to go for 23 in 2023. We will also complete our mass care sheltering plan, again, in case we have a large event, an earthquake, a wildfire, or a disaster. Your city will be ready. Our health inspectors have a very important job of making sure our food establishments, pools, and spas are safe for our residents. Standardization is ideal so that each inspection is conducted in a consistent manner. It's very important to us that all of our establishments are treated the same. The rules that apply to this restaurant apply to every restaurant. We just do it the same. Doesn't matter which food establishment you are. So we're really working hard to have a consistent inspection, and it also will not matter who your inspector is. Those will be the same for everyone. And if you want to see what the letter grade, you now see those prominently displayed when you walk in your restaurants. So if you see their letter grade and you're interested on their particulars of that, you can go to Get Healthy Carson City and look at any health inspection. Is that telling me to get done? Oh, a good clue. Okay. Our fire department, which is led by Chief Slayman. There you go. Woohoo! And what did they work on this year? Our fire and life safety programs to over 2,000 elementary students. Pretty darn good, right? And completed a full year of advanced cardiac resuscitation protocols. I got that one out. That was hard. To improve our public response. This has increased our survival rates. Again, everything that we're doing is to help you, the resident of Carson City. They also updated their alerting system for a more efficient response, so the first responders arrive on the scene with the absolute most information they can, which includes knowing all the maps and locations of the fire hydrants and any needed infrastructure. And I gotta tell you, this is kind of exciting. This new technology transfers straight onto their cell phones. Kind of cool. Everything is different, right? It's not the old-fashioned radio anymore that tried to tell you everything that was going on. It's the cell phone. So awesome work for the fire department. Thank you. And of course, what are we up to for 2023? We've been talking about this, so I know you already know this, but we look forward to the groundbreaking and construction of the new fire station and emergency operations center on Fairview and Butteye Way. This will help us achieve the critical response time in this area of our community to help save lives. Again, we want a 4-minute response time, and we try really hard to get there, and so we want to add a fire station to this area to help achieve that goal. I'm pleased to introduce Darren Schultz, our Director of Public Works. There's Darren. Okay. This is a true question. Does anyone besides Darren recognize this mural? Aha, got you guys. Okay, this one was done by Deborah Fong, and it is the new high water mark that we put on the East 5th Street. So next time you guys are driving on 5th Street, take a look across and, well, it's broken up in little pieces. So as we go through the slides, you'll see parts of this mural. But that was something we just love it. And I think that all of you, when you see it in its totality, you will too. Public Works, we this year got our new scale house at our landfill. Anybody know that one? No? You all use waste management, me too. Oh, nope, I take that back. Sue and Dawn, do you like the new, yes, look at that. So, oh, that's wonderful. So that we did. We also are working on the Quill water treatment plant. Our upgrade on that one, we're at the 60% design. So we're getting there on that one. What's that going to do for us? It's going to allow us to treat the surface water so our production changes from 1.5 million gallons a day to 6 million gallons a day. That's a lot, right? You don't have to be a math major to know that's a lot more water. This is going to allow us to serve all the Carson City water needs without the use of our wells during the winter time. That's pretty phenomenal. So that we can do what? Save the wells to be used during our warmer seasons where we need the water. It's also going to allow us to protect those water rights. Right? We don't want to waste any right that we have. We want to make sure we have, technical word, but we want beneficial use. We want to be able to prove we're doing something with them because there's some other communities around us that might like to take them. Greedy, aren't they? You don't take my water. Anyway, we're going to protect our water. They also have done a lot of outreach with the public and many of you to work on what we want the Williams Street project to look like. So that one's also at about 60%. We also held the groundbreaking for phase 1 at the Sierra Flats Affordable Housing Project. That's 80 units that will be coming online this fall. And then we hope another 80 close to or right with it. And here's the tough one. Like I said, I told you I was going to have 3, so I might as well just do it, right? We've also started the difficult discussion on how to fund our local roads. There is no easy answer, except for one. It takes more money. It's as simple as that. It's where we get the money that, of course, is the difficult discussions and decisions. We've started a dedicated website at preservecarsoncityroads.com. Please take some time to review that and comment and help us. It's going to take the whole entire community to work on this project and help us decide the best path forward. There's just no easy answer, right? Roads are very, very expensive. So I hope that you will help us make those decisions. Some more of that mural. Oh, it's kind of cute, huh? I'd like to thank Public Works and the park staff for their efforts. Oh boy, have they been efforts lately. In clearing our roads and doing flood mitigation to minimize all the damage and the hundreds of hours to make our community safe. We have had a rough month, have we not? Yeah. How many of you have shoveled more driveways and sidewalks than you have in a very long time? So again, I just want to give a shout out to Darren's team. They worked countless hours, 24 hours a day, snow plowing, right? Yeah. We're preparing for the fact that we had all that snow, so we're concerned that we may have heavy flooding due to that snowpack. Our recent events, however, have proved the benefit of the South Carson drainage improvement that we did. I don't know if any of you have lived here a very long time, but it used to be even a little bit of a flood. You could take the kayak at the Carson Mall and, right? That's what we're all used to. So your Board of Supervisors really is working hard to come up with storm drain fixes. Next year, they'll be working on the Prison Hill booster pump station and finishing up the East William project design and the 5th Street roundabout reconstruction. And so, great job, Public Works. Really great job. Our senior center. Is Courtney here? There she is in the back. So, what is a celebration without food, right? And brownies, if that's a food. In 2022, the Senior Center celebrated their 50 years of nutrition services in our community. They served over 148,000 meals and delivered 111,719, to be exact, to our homebound seniors. Not only are they feeding our seniors, but they're also keeping them cool in the summer. Courtney does a great job with the community partners obtaining fans to give out during their annual fan drive. So they did 382 this year. And then for the holidays, they gave homebound seniors and then 73 clients from our public guardians office gifts for the holiday season. So again, thank you, community, for contributing the gifts and helping our homebound seniors and public guardians. Looking ahead, we're gearing up. This is, like I said, 50 years. We got to do a change here. We're going to remodel their main bathroom, dining room, and their kitchen area, which will be a wonderful improvement to modernize, improve access, and add options to our on-site dining room. In other words, they could have a choice of more than one thing, right? So, I don't know. Sometimes just give it to me and it's probably a better answer. But they're going to have a choice. So that's super exciting for our senior center. And then they'll just be able to do some more programming in 2023. Our alternative sentencing. Again, another busy year. Chief Marlena Stone, I think I saw her. Oh, with Kenny right there, our chief. What a great job. Did you guys see her smile? She's got I just have to say, she kind of has a little bit of a difficult population to deal with. And it's such an honor to see that she's still always smiling about doing a good job. So I just want to say thank you, Marlena. We have 2 dedicated drug testing technicians, which I think has improved the process immensely. That's an activity that the courts like to do for probationers or people that want to not get sentenced. Right? We want to keep them out of jail, and so drug testing is a huge component of that activity. And so while normally this wouldn't sound right, but we had 79% with a negative test. And in this case, negative is good, right? That's pretty darn good. And I want to say that I really appreciate our judges that are working in that arena and our alternative sentencing to try and give these people a second chance at being productive in our community. So, right? It's a good thing. Yeah. And what is Chief Stone going to work on next year? Well, I have to do her quote, so I have to put my glasses on to say it right. She believes a strong foundation lays the groundwork for growth. So for 2023, she's going to be concentrating on updating all of their policies and procedures and implementing the framework to support case management services for her probation cases and utilizing a guardian tracker, which is an interactive management tool to help employees succeed in their roles. I think that means she's taking them another century. Yeah, because we're kind of antiquated, but we're working on making a change there. Okay, our human resources team. Last week, we took a photo of the HR department because they do so much behind the scenes. We wanted to capture their wonderful smiles and give them the spotlight. Meet our HR department. You can see what they thought of the idea of taking a picture. Right? No, Mayor. It was a big fat no. Yep. Our human resources manage, I think, did I see Melanie? Oh, there she is, Melanie Bruchetta. They screened 4,566 applicants for 227 positions. Wow, that's a lot of applications to go through. The city had an 8.7% increase in job openings and a 14% increase in the applications we received from the previous year. The technical and professional positions are difficult to fill. So if you know anyone that's interested in an engineering, IT, nursing job, or yes, we will even take a cook in the jail, send them our way. She needs another, I don't know, a couple hundred applications. Oh yeah, she's looking at, I'm getting another glare. It went as well as the picture did. They have also implemented management and leadership training to ensure that employees get the best opportunities to be successful. Carson City takes succession planning to heart. We have to retain the employees that we have. That is good for all of you. So this last year, we had 63 promotions. HR works hard preparing the longevity certificates for our employees. We award those with 5 to 30 years of service. Last year, your Board of Supervisors recognized 87 employees for their longevity. 57% of the employee workforce, though, has been with the city for 5 years or less. 67% of the employee workforce is over the age of 35. And 48% of the employees work for Carson City live here, right? So that tells me 52% does not live in Carson City. Shows you how regional employment is, right? They live in Reno and Dayton and Minden, but that was a statistic I thought you all might find interesting. This staff is also responsible for managing all of our employee health and wellness initiatives and administers all of our benefits for about 1,572 employees, retirees, and their dependents. So that's a lot of work. Okay, these are not the droids you're looking for. It wasn't too long ago the city was still using dated hardware made in 1999. But thanks to our IT department, which is led by Frank Abella. Is Frank here? I thought I saw him. Oh, there you're hiding. It doesn't work. There you go. He's doing a great job, you guys. We have really made progress toward modernizing our technology. In 2022, the IT department updated our operating systems and payment software. Somebody doesn't realize I'm here. Forgot to turn my phone on. And expanded our security firewall. We're working hard to bring our technology into the next century. This is very expensive. Many of our systems have been around for 20 years, and we needed to update most of them. These updates impacted just about all of our departments, our assessor's office, treasurer's office, finance, human resources, and utilities. I want to give a shout out to Frank. He has been appointed to the governor's cybersecurity task force. Again, that shows you what expertise we have in this city. Yeah, right? Pretty exciting. And his deputy director, Andrew Rice, and his critical infrastructure manager, Andrew Cobble, have recently passed their certified information systems security professional. I am again, professionalism and getting people trained and educated to do the best job. I'm really so proud of their efforts in the IT department. They're really trying to help us move forward. For 2023, they're going to concentrate their efforts on our wireless security. With all this new software, hardwares, and ways that we all access our information, like I said, the fire department's taking it on their cell phones now, we really must always protect the customer data, right? So we want to build upon all the work we started in 2022 by modernizing our access points. And so Frank and his team are going to tackle that this year. We have other elected officials in our community, and I feel so very lucky to have the great team of all your elected officials. I think you really have something to be proud of here in this city. So I want to share a few thoughts from each of those officials. So Kimberly Adams is our newly elected Carson City Assessor. Did I see Kimberly? Don't think I did. Kimberly moved to Nevada in 1991, and she began her career with the assessor's office in 2000 as a property appraiser technician. She was then promoted to senior deputy assessor and worked her way up to chief deputy assessor. Kimberly has successfully completed the Nevada Property Tax Appraiser Certification Program and is certified in both real and personal property. And she's a member of the International Association of Assessing Officers and the Nevada Assessors Association. Kimberly hired Shannon Silva to replace her as the chief deputy. Shannon comes to Carson City from the Department of Taxation with 19 years of experience in property assessment. Shannon, got that backwards, you guys. Shannon also served on the Appraisal Certification Board for over 10 years. So again, a lot of experience in our assessor's office. And what are they going to be working on? They want to convert 88,000. I checked that number because I thought maybe I was wrong, but 88,000 historical documents to hyperlink from the recorder's office to the assessor's website, so that when you're looking at a parcel, you can just hit the link and get the deed. You don't have to go to all over the place looking for things. So we hope to have that done by the end of the year. They also worked with a company, iLookabout, to take all the photographs and get all of those linked. So we have current photographs of all the properties. So hopefully we'll have that done in this year also. So look for improved website for the assessor's office. We have a new clerk recorder, Scott Hohen. Oh, I have them too, but you can all see them. Did I hit?
That'll be if they're way too long if you leave.
I know.
Yeah. Get rid of the pictures? I thought they were pretty good. He shadowed our previous clerk, Aubrey Rowley, after the election in November, before he even took his office officially. He really wants to do a good job for all of you. The recorder's office implemented the Carson City Property Notification Alert System in 2022. So if you have a document recording against your property, it can send you an alert. So that's our attempt to try and stop title fraud, right? If you haven't signed up for that and you own property in Carson City, please go on to the recorder site and sign up for that. It's an opportunity to, hopefully you only get an alert because you are buying it or refinancing it and not someone else. That's our hope. So great job there with them. And then they're getting geared up for 3 elections in 2024. They will have to do the presidential, a primary, and a general. As you may or may not remember, we no longer will have a presidential caucus. We're moving to a presidential primary. So that's just one more election the clerk's office has to do. Our district attorney, Jason Woodbury, working hand in hand with our local law enforcement partners, the DA's office continues to make the safety of our community their top priority. And caring for the well-being of crime victims, he feels is his most solemn responsibility. At the DA's request, the Board of Supervisors funded a 3rd position in the Victim Witness Services, which will significantly enhance our ability to communicate with victims about their cases, explain their rights and let them have a voice, and connect with them during their recovery needs. The DA's office is also working to leverage the capabilities of its new case management system to automate routine communications, which will free up personnel and allow for more one-on-one personal interactions with especially vulnerable victims. On the civil side, Our office is engaged in a multi-year project to clarify, simplify, and modernize the Carson City Municipal Code. They look forward to presenting their work on Title 18, the most complex segment of the code, at the March retreat of the Board of Supervisors. We thought we'd tackle the hardest first, right? Because it's all downhill from that. Yeah, that didn't work either, but I'm trying. We also have Kenny, Sheriff Furlong, with us today. One of our most frequently accessed information points used by the Sheriff's Office to view the health and wellness of the Carson City community is embedded in the most frequent activities that law enforcement is called on to address. Annually, they see the top reasons for calling the police. I know, is assistance, right? What do you guys think it is? Do you think it's crime? Yeah, it's not. You're all right. It's not crime. It is awareness in this community about your neighbors, friends, and family. Everyone looking out for everyone. So again, in 2022, welfare checks tops the most frequent call for service, right? No true crime is in the top 10 calls for service. I think that's pretty phenomenal. Obviously, not so sure what next year's answers look like. We certainly had a few issues of late, but it's, I think, our solemn prayer that that doesn't increase, right? That's really what we can say. It just not good this last month. Our treasurer is Andrew Razor. I think I saw Andy. There he is, right? Staff from the Carson City Treasurer's Office has been working diligently with the vendors to provide customers with more convenient online payment options to pay for a variety of your city services, especially for water and sewer payments, oh yes, and the parking citations, right? We're a little cheap on them though, you guys. We only charge $15. But
oh, I know I had the.
Oh, she's admitting that she paid. Okay.
I paid it right away.
There you go. But we really, again, want to do that one-time payment option. And if you go on to the front of our website and scroll down a little bit, there's a one that says pay. We thought we'd keep it simple. Pay, just pay. But that's going to give some opportunities to make it, again, super easy for you to take care of your bills that you owe the city, including those that pay rent for the utilities. So in Carson City, you have to be the owner of the property. We do not allow renters to put the water bill in their name. Has to be the property owner, right? But it is easier to let the user of the property, the renter, just go ahead and pay the bill. So that will give you those one-time options just to hit the pay button and take care of the bills. So we hope that that's a big plus. Okay, the best picture of all coming your way. I'm so honored to work with the best board in the entire state, maybe even the country. I would like to introduce them to you and let them tell you briefly about something important to them. So our supervisor for Ward 1 and our Mayor Pro Tem, Stacy Giomi. Do you want to?
Just like that.
Ta-da-da, ta-da, yeah.
Hello? No. Is that on? Here, I'll just stand up.
Tap the base.
For the cameras, Stacy, for the cameras.
I got it. Tap the Is that good?
There you go.
Lori said you each have a minute, and giving a politician a minute is like telling a baker he can't use flour. But I'm going to give it a shot. I had a full circle moment in August, and Lori alluded to this a moment ago. My granddaughter started kindergarten here in Carson, Bordewick Bray, and I thought back 35 years when I was walking my son to kindergarten at Sealiger. And so I walked into Bordewick Bray, and in there I see a friend of my daughter's who's now a teacher. So you talk about full circle, and there's enough of us in this room who are of an age where you start to get a little nostalgic. But the thing that Lori mentioned to me at the end there is this, and that is that this is a connected community. We are each connected to each other through friendships, through working relationships, through the nonprofits that operate in this community, through the employees that work here, through our friendships. And I guess for me, the most important thing going forward is we are cognizant of that connection, and that we're friendly and helpful with each other, that we work together, that we try to find solutions, and that we are thankful for living in such a great community. And so that's really because of everyone in this room. One more thing I'll challenge each of you to do. If you look around the room, you see a lot of the same faces that you saw here 2 years ago when we had one of these, or 4 years ago. So I challenge you to go grab somebody who may be a little younger than you and get them involved. Hook them up with a nonprofit. Get them on a city board. Because the key to community is involvement. And if it's the same group always involved, we're going to hit a cap at some point. So that's my challenge to you, and my thanks to all of you for making this community a great place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Supervisor for Ward 2, Maurice White. Few words?
Well, I have to echo Stacy's comment about 1 minute. How do you spend 1 minute talking about all the great things that happen in Carson City? The first thing that I want to do today is give a shout out to Stan Jones, recent exit Ward 3 supervisor. Stan did a great job. Some of the things that I found over this last year, and actually going forward, that are important to me is, on October 15th, we had the grand opening for the Prison Hill OHV recreation area. That gives this community 900 acres of dedicated motorized trail and rock crawler opportunities. That project was brought to you in part by grants from the Nevada Commission on OHV. So as the chairman of that commission, I was particularly happy to see that project make it to a grand opening. You can access that facility off of Golden Eagle Lane. Through the time that I have been on the board, it was kind of a hard realization to understand workforce development is so important. FISH and Nevada Works are bringing workforce development opportunities to Carson City to meet their mission statement of food, instruction, shelter, and healthcare. The FISH revitalization project being constructed on North Carson Street will provide student housing for clients working to upgrade their career opportunities. Through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, Nevada Works is consolidating and rebranding to better educate and connect employers, employees, and educators. The Work Ready Communities Initiative will be reflected in the new strategic plan that we are building with Nevada Works. I sit on the board of directors with Nevada Works, and I'm on the strategic planning committee. These two together are really going to bring some opportunities for everybody in Carson City that wants to have a job or wants to have an employee working for them. That's the things that really stood out to me as I reviewed what I've done really over the past 2 years as a supervisor.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have our supervisor for Ward 3, our newly elected, Curtis Horton.
Good afternoon. I want to use my precious minute.
Curtis, the mic there. Yeah, there you go.
Looks like it's
He's just quiet.
maybe it's just me.
It's a Ward 3 thing. Stan was quiet too.
30 seconds.
So I wanted to use my time to talk about something that's really important to me and to the mayor. conditions of our roadways. It's very difficult to understand this problem, to solve this problem. Funding is an issue. Is that better?
I know, the only one right.
I can turn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, there you
No,
go.
you're good.
That's
It's good.
really working then.
Not working well?
There you go. You're trying to so you could be heard now.
We started the clock.
Okay, we'll restart it.
Talk about streets. Streets is an important issue. It's an issue that a lot of people don't understand. They understand the local portion of the streets that they drive. If you think about it, we all have our favorite routes to the grocery store, to the doctor's office, to a couple of friends' homes. And during those adventures, we always find something wrong with the road here or there. It's like, golly, I wish they would fix that. It's not that simple. You need to look around the entire city. You need to understand that it's a huge problem throughout the community. That if you never see the other neighborhoods, you really don't know. I would encourage everyone, and tell your friends and neighbors, when the snow melts, go out and take that Sunday drive. Go to the industrial area, go to different neighborhoods, go to places that you normally wouldn't go. Look at the conditions of the roadways, and you'll see that the problem is much bigger than you might imagine. We've all become accustomed to dodging a pothole here and there, to avoiding a street that has wide cracks on it, we've customized our routes and we avoid the problems wherever we can. But without seeing the rest of the city, we don't know how difficult the problem will be to solve. So I encourage everybody to go out and look at your community. We're all in it together. We have to participate as a team, the entire community. I would also encourage everyone to participate in the public opportunities for comment. If you have concerns or questions, direct them to the Public Works Department, who's done a great job. I can tell you from my many years of experience, these guys have done an excellent job. Darren and his team have gone out there and they have killed it this year. I am super proud of every one of them. I can't tell you how much it means to me to know that those guys are out there and they're doing it for all of us, for the community. And they're not just working 24/7, they're working several days in a row. They're coming back to work with minimal hours of sleep and rest, and it's super difficult. But they do a great job, and I appreciate it very much, as I know all of you do. But remember, go out and look at the whole community. It's a bigger problem than you can imagine, and we have to work together on it. Thank you.
And then we have Lisa Schutte for Ward 4.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. And about being Ward 4, I'm always the last to speak. And so my talking points have all been taken, but actually it really lends itself perfectly to what I want to talk about, and that's the spirit of community and celebrating the power of our community, which all the other supervisors have spoken of. In November, I attended a summit in Reno, Trails, Transportation, and Tourism, and that is a perfect example of what community can be. How when we look at things holistically, we look at the interconnectivity of recreation and transportation, and how we want folks to experience our beautiful city through tourism. Not only because they can enjoy it, but also because it benefits us. It benefits our tax structure, it benefits our bragging rights, kind of all of the above. But also with collaboration, I am just a big proponent of nonprofits, and we see the great work our nonprofits do. Circles, Fish, Ron Wood Center, Nevada Humane Society, Kathmandu, and one of my favorites, Carson Animal Services Initiative. But collectively, and there are so many other nonprofits, muscle powered, but collectively we work together, and none of us work alone. You know, at Cassie's Spark Wine and Dine fundraiser, we have Toyota there, who they always help sponsor. We have Kenny Furlong, who bring a lot of money when you come to our nonprofits, or our fundraiser, because he is our master
Auctioneer.
Auctioneer.
Yeah, get the money.
But, we work together and we make this community really what it can be. We look out for each other. So it's Carson City as a whole, and then it's the people within the community as the drivers. I think about spirit of community when we talk about our codes. And so when the mayor was talking about 1710 in the open space, the idea behind that truly was about how do we provide interconnectivity and a lovely way for all of us to benefit from the wonderful open space, and for development to be able to not only meet the needs of housing, but also meet the needs of the interconnectivity and neighborhoods. Think about when you're visiting someone and you go for a walk and how nice it is when communities and neighborhoods actually you can just kind of follow a walking path and go through a park. And so that was what it was intended to be. And so perhaps having conversations about how do we make the wording better so that it truly meets the spirit of the intention, that's great. And so to revisit a project isn't a negative. On the contrary, it's a way to learn from what we have, and okay, gosh, through the process, we do need to make a few tweaks. That's great. So that's a win-win. And so as Curtis talked about, getting involved, the public comment, that's so important. And part of commenting is also listening for the why, learning the behind-the-scenes process, and then getting really clear on the objectives. And again, as somebody involved in nonprofits, it's always about the objective. As a past teacher, it's always about the objective. And so our objective collectively, which you are all a part of, is how do we make this community the very best it can be? And I thank you for being a part of this community, because all of you are the movers and shakers. You help us do the jobs we need to do. We're so grateful for the spirit of collaboration. And I just thank you.
See why I say they're the best team in the whole state and the country, right? I'm honored every day to work with them. We're on the downhill work. The city manager, Nancy Paulson, and our deputy city manager, Stephanie, are here. And I really just want to say how much we appreciate them as this board and this community. We have so much to be proud of. Those two ladies work so hard on your behalf. I just got to tell you, I see it in the office every single day. They work to make things better for all of you. What are they going to be working on? Obviously, the legislative session is coming our way. We have a charter review piece of legislation. Carson City gets to submit one bill. We have to do a few little hiccups in our charter that we discovered. So we're going to be working on that. A courthouse remodel, youth detention center updates, and city hall plans. That's really what we're looking at over the next future. And we're always watching our revenue streams. My final comment on that is, yes, I do watch the pennies. I cannot help it. So I started off with grants, and now I'm on pennies. But my closing. I just want to thank you all for your attention today and for being a part of this community. For the arts organizations that support local arts. For the artists sharing their talents to beautify our city. To the city departments that include art in their planning. We can't thank you enough. If you're not familiar with the location of all these murals that our lovely James over there worked on to put in the pictures, I encourage you to walk the downtown. Walk our trails. Participate and volunteer your time. If you're interested in doing more for the arts, reach out to Sierra or Deborah over there. Talk to us about your ideas. Help us continue the progress we have made over the past several years to continue to paint our path forward. Thank you all so much. And Ronnie, thank you for the paints. It fits the theme perfectly.